What's good, y'all? So, man, it's just an update. This is week. Shit. Man, honestly, I don't even know how many weeks it's been. Um, it's been a minute, man. The time is all starting to run together, honestly. I just got up. I left Franklin, Kentucky about 30, 45 minutes ago. I'm headed up to New Albany, Ohio, just north of Columbus. I got to pick up there and then take this load down and take the next load down to Dallas. It's got to be done on 26th. So I'm gonna shoot back down through Memphis so I can be home for 2 days. And then I'm going to head down to Dallas, get down to Dallas, pick up a load, go out to Springfield, Missouri, and then hopefully I can pick up a load out of there that'll end up taking me out to either Colorado or Utah, or get one of the good paying Oregon loads or Washington. I will say right now, there is a load that's paying like 5,200. That's what you'll take. Well, no, it's like 5,400. That's what you'll take home going out from Kentucky to Springfield, Oregon, which is like the Portland area. So if you're already USA driving, you don't mind going out there. It's paying you a little bit over $2 a mile. So I mean, if you don't mind going out there way you got change, 'cause you're gonna need them. Um, I personally recommend it, but like I said, that depends on if you want to drive it there. You got 4 days to get it there, which means you'll have 3 more days to get at least one other load under you coming back out east. But if you go there, you can get a really good paying Starbucks load that comes back out going to University Park, Illinois. Those loads generally pay you about 5 grand, because that's usually my sweet spot. If I go out there, I know that I'm finna get a Starbucks load coming out going to University Park, and I know that load's gonna pay me at least 5 grand. So that's just a tip for you if you're ever out there in that area. But like I said, it's an update on how I'm doing, man. I've been doing great. I calculate everything from I went back from October 5th till last week. I grossed out at 71,000. Um, and that's from October to last week. So I grossed at 71,000 for the past couple months. Um, which I mean, it's not bad. I mean, I had a few weeks while I sat. I was at home because my truck was in the body shop. And now that I'm back on the road, everything's been good. Last week wasn't that great because I had a lot of expenses that had to come out because I did go a little bit in the hole with USA. But till they deferred my payments, so I didn't have to have any makeup payments. They all tacked that on to the end of my lease, which there is something I want to just give y'all a heads up on with TEL in a minute. But with that, yeah, I didn't have a great week. I ended up bringing home 1,600 bucks last week, which for me, that's not good. Normally, I end up bringing in between 2,500 to 3 grand. But like I said, I also had 4,800 bucks come out of my check, which like about 2,600 of that um, was all expense. It was all expenses, like money I owe USA. That wasn't even any of my fuel. That was just money I owed USA. But right now, freight's picking up. I have seen a lot of good freight coming out after the first. There's a lot of good freight that's coming out after the first. Like Michigan, Wisconsin, Missouri, Kentucky, Tennessee, Ohio, Texas has had some hot loads depending on the area you're in. Mississippi is kind of eh. Mississippi really doesn't pay that well a lot of times. I hate to say it, but it's hard to find a really good paying load out of Mississippi. If you can go to Alabama, Mobile pays really well coming out of Kimberly Clark. But then again, Kimberly Clark usually plays pretty well. The next load I'm on is actually a Chewy load that's going down to Dallas, and it's paying me really well. So Chewy usually plays pretty well, but I know sometimes, like I have seen their rates, slip and then they come back up. So you just kind of gotta watch certain loads, certain areas, and then you can really get a feel for what areas are going to consistently pay well. Um, but yeah, man, everything is going good over here. If you're thinking about coming to USA, if I'm being honest, like you can like I would say that you can easily expect to make 2 grand a week take home after taxes, after everything. If you manage your money properly, you can easily make 2 grand take home. Especially with how some of the freight's looking in certain areas. But the biggest thing is picking your loads properly and paying attention to the areas you're going in. I don't go to the Northeast. It's not worth it. It's not. Like I saw a load going into New Jersey. It's going to Jersey City. It's paying $5,800, but and it was only for like 1,000 miles. But the thing is, you're gonna have tolls coming out. You're paying a lot of money for fuel going into Jersey, and once you get up there, the chances of you getting a good load out of Jersey is not good, because more than likely the best loads you're gonna be able to get while you're up there is a load going up to New Hampshire, going to either Coca-Cola or going up to Target and dropping a load off, or hitting Walmart. But like I said, that just pushes you even further into the Northeast. And once you start getting out there, there's not a lot of really good loads coming out, so you're gonna end up eating into your own money. So I personally don't recommend going out that way unless you plan on deadheading out. Um, that's just my own personal opinion. Do what you want to do, but just a little bit of guidance on that. Um, but with most people are starting to go to TEL, which is Transport Enterprise Leasing, is one of the companies we use. I would personally recommend going through them because a lot of dudes are starting to have issues with Bush. I mean, a lot of drivers complaining because Bush isn't wanting to fix their trucks when issues happen. I know there was a guy, Cody. His truck's been down for man. His truck was down for at least like 2 months, because they weren't wanting to fix his truck. And even when they did fix it, they didn't really fix the major issue. It's more of like they were just trying to do some patchwork and let him ride that patchwork out until, um, his warranty and his lease on the truck was up. That way, once that patchwork, you know, as I guess done its time, then he's gonna have to end up eating all the costs of fixing his transmission. Which, man, that's dirty. That's not good business. Honestly, I wouldn't be surprised if USA does away with some of these leasing companies next year, just because it's not good for the drivers. Stuff like that is going to affect driver retention. The last thing you want is drivers to leave the company with a bad taste in their mouth because of one of the leasing companies you use. It's just bad for business. And that was, with me being at TEL, um, they if you're down for a certain amount of time, they defer your payments, so you're not coming out, having to instantly pay them, 700 bucks for your truck payment, or on top of that weekly truck payment already. Like my fixed expenses just with TEL is $697 a week, and that's including a $30 charge for the accounting company they use. So it's really good. Like that's not bad at all. Like I was talking to Snyder drivers, and some of those dudes are paying $1,300 a week. I don't know how you can make money paying that much for your truck a week. Cause I had a conversation with some of those guys, and they were talking about how it's hard to make 3,500 bucks within a 5-day work week, and that I'm talking about gross, not net, but gross. Over here you can get one load or even two loads within the span of 3 days, or even sometimes 2 days, that can pay you out the 3,500 gross. That's not hard. That's why I say you really have to pay attention and do research on the companies where you're trying to go lease at, just because if you make a bad decision on a leasing company, that will affect you more than anything. If you're paying too much for your truck and you're not able to make enough money for yourself. Because after, like, with USA fixed costs and everything, I'm paying like right at 900 a month. That's including everything USA. Well, 900 a week. That's including everything the USA takes out. But the thing about Tail that I was going to tell y'all is, so they have an early buyout option. So what you can do, um, when they give you your contract shows it shows you the value of your truck every single week. So the value of your truck, of course, decreases every week you have the truck. But what you can do is you can go to a bank. I personally recommend getting with a credit union, sticking with that credit union for at least a year or two if you already aren't with a credit union, or if you're already with a bank and you have good credit, you've been with them for a while. I recommend going to that bank, taking out a business loan, and pretty much financing your truck to the bank, because you can get a lot cheaper. You can get a cheaper payment per month, and with that, you can move your truck wherever you want to. So, say if your goal is like going to Landstar, Great Wide, etc., you can move your truck whenever you want to, because then it's your truck. You're financing that truck. Like, yes, you're still making a payment, but at the end of the day, you can do whatever you want to with that truck. But that's just my own personal opinion, because um, like, my buyout right now for my truck is right at 100 and like right at 130 something. It's like 130 something thousand. Um, so I finally got my letter from Tail telling me how much a buyout is. So now I just have to go through the bank and get the bank to send the money over to TEL, and then once that money's sent over, then they'll set everything up with the bank, and the bank will start. I'll actually be paying about it was like a little bit over $1,800 a month for my truck through the bank. So I'll actually come out in a better position. But I will say I did put down. You don't have to, but I did put down a sizable amount of money with the bank. That way, I could try to decrease my financing term as much as I could. But that's just a little bit of a tip for y'all. So do with that information as you may. But if you're wanting to get out of the lease and be more of on a financing basis, that is a great option, and I would personally recommend doing that. But yeah, man, things are going well. If you end up coming over here as a lease driver, more than likely they'll end up sending you up to the Vandalia terminal right now. I actually have to go through there, so I'm gonna end up doing a video, going through there, looking at some of the lease trucks, because Tail, they do have quite a few lease trucks. They put drivers in on the yard up there, because they're actually sending drivers to the Vandalia yard to pick up their trucks. Um, Whenever you end up leasing, because they have the Kenworth T680s there. They have the 579 Ultra Lofts, and then the Freightliner Cascadia. It's brand new. Pretty much everybody that I've seen that ends up getting a brand new truck, you're gonna have anywhere from 100 to 200 miles on your truck when you get it. So the truck is literally brand new. I will say, if you do get a new Freightliner, watch all of your axle gaskets, because sometimes these transport guys don't have everything tightened down the way they should be. So make sure that everything is tightened down and torqued properly, because that is an issue that a lot of drivers have had, not just here, but even I've seen it in other companies. where though like the trucks come brand new from Freightliner and they start having those little bit of issues. But yeah, man, everything's going great. I hope y'all are being safe, man. I hope y'all have a happy holiday. Um, but yeah, if y'all want to come over here, I think the first orientation class is January 4th. I'm not sure if it's full yet, but coming over here after the beginning of the year will be a good time for you. Because right now, my goal, I'm shooting for at least making 130 grand take home next year, which shouldn't be that. Personally, I don't think it'll be that hard. That would be like I would at least need to take home about 2,800 bucks a week net. So I think that's very doable. Um, Shoot, if I could at least make 100 grand next year, I'd be happy. Cause like right now, I counted back from October 5th until to last week, I grossed $76,000. Um, so I definitely feel like it'll be easy to hit that $130,000 mark and not really run myself ragged. Because right now I run about 2,200 miles a week, which has been pretty good. That's kind of where I want to stay at. Like sometimes I'll run over 3 grand a week, but those weeks, that's usually weeks where I'm running out to like Salt Lake City, Colorado, or I'm going out to Cali or going out to the Northwest. Um, just because sometimes it is worth it to eat some of those miles to get out there and get those loads because you can really going out there or coming back out of there, you can gross 6 or 7 grand off of just one of those loads. So sometimes it is worth it to eat up those miles like that. And well, that and especially since going to like Colorado, Utah, you hit spots with speed limits 80, 85. So if you can still get a good fuel mileage while going some of those speeds, because you are ungoverned over here, um, it can be good for you. 'Cause like my truck, um, it tops out at 93. I mean, I will never go that fast because there's nowhere where I could ever possibly, use that much speed. And plus, your tires have a certain, speed rating, and yeah, that's not safe for you. You blow a steer going that fast, it's a done day for you. Um, but yeah, man, things are looking up. I'm hoping next year is looking like it's gonna be a great year. And I'm hoping all the other drivers over here they have a great year next year, and any other prospective drivers, I hope you have a great year as well. You do also get a recruiting bonus here. I really don't mention it just because a lot of people look at it when people start mentioning a recruiting bonus. They're like, oh well, they're just talking about the good, just to get you over there so they can get that bonus. Everything over here ain't sweet. I'll be honest. The USA does tend to have some communication issues, which I found a lot of it isn't technically USA. A lot of it is these shippers and brokers will cancel loads, and then they don't relay that information over to USA. At least that's been in my own personal experience. And then a lot of the drivers will blame USA, but it's not something the USA has canceled. The brokers canceled it and hasn't notified the company. So what I personally recommend is making sure that you end up calling USA. You always end up calling your shippers, receivers, things like that before you ever get there to pick up or drop your loads, just to make sure that that load is still good to go. Your appointment time is correct, so that you're not wasting your time trying to go over there and pick up or drop this load too early, or getting to your appointment way too early. Another thing I will say is that a lot of these places you do go to where you have these live unloads and live loads, a lot of them will work you in if you get there early. I mean, I've gotten to some loads where I've been there a day early, or I've been there 6 to 8 hours early, and a lot of them will work with you on going ahead and getting you in because a lot of these companies want to go ahead and get their freight out and get it where it needs to be. Um, because a lot of them would rather you be there early than get there late for your appointments. But man, with the recruiting bonus, it's $4,000 recruiting bonus. You get paid $1,000 after that driver delivers their first load. You get paid another 1,000 after 30, another after 60, and then the final 1,000 after 90 days. If you end up referring somebody to tell, um, they cut you a $250 check after that driver has signed their contract for their lease. Yes, it is not a walkaway lease. So that is another reason why I highly recommend um, trying to finance your truck at some point if you have the credit. Now, I will say two things. I highly recommend saving up. And it's about like if you ever want to move your truck to another company while leasing it, you're gonna need 10 grand to move that truck, and then you're also gonna need rent, which is your lease payment. You're gonna need 6 weeks worth of that. So you're gonna need another 3,600 bucks. So you need to, as quickly as you can, save up about 14 to 15 grand. So if your goal is to move to Landstar, at some point during your lease, I would highly recommend saving that money up because you never know what can happen. You know, things might stop, going great over here and you might need to make another move somewhere else. So I highly recommend saving that up. But then I also recommend making sure you save up enough money for your lease termination. I hope that doesn't happen. But if for some reason you need to early, terminate your lease early, it's a $2,000 charge, and then another 1,600 bucks on top of that for the termination. So 3,600 bucks. So I would highly recommend making sure you save that money up as quickly as you can, just because you never know what's going to happen. Life is unpredictable. Anything can really happen to you. So that's something I do recommend making sure you do, just to cover yourself if anything were to happen. But, you know, tell they really want to work with you. They want you to be successful because if you're not successful, then they're not really going to make any money off of you. And they really want you to make money. That's why they give you, the startup programs to help you make sure that you're maximizing your income by fueling properly, taking good loads, etc., etc. But man, I hope y'all have a great morning, have a happy holidays. I'm about to get off here, finish my drive up to Ohio. I got about another 4 hours to go. So y'all have a good one, man. Y'all stay safe. And I'll see y'all next time.